Three, two, one. What's up, everybody? Today is Tuesday, November 21st. Sorry I have been MIA for the past couple weeks. I just got back into Cali, was working really hard, building movies and TV shows. Got my fingers wet in Star Wars, which is great. I've always been in admiration of those movies, and thanks to the wonderful state of California, I got to work there, or on one of the set pieces, I should say. Anyway, that was really fun. So today's going to be a quick episode. I'm going to try and keep it under 30 minutes. So how I'm going to do that is, this first little bit, I'm just going to catch you up a little bit, and then talk a little bit about lifestyle decision, and then I'll share a story. So catching up with me. Like I said, I just got back into Cali, working on sets and TV shows right now. I've been doing a lot of welding, a lot of grinding, but it's good work. I'm happy to be getting better at it, and I'm excited to see where I can take this skill. Cali life is pretty amazing. Last weekend we went up into the mountains on Highway 2, which is the Crest Highway, and it's just the zigzag snaky road that goes up the mountains, and it's wild. The only people who are really up there, there's a few sightseers, but it was mostly motorcyclists and people taking their sports cars out into the hills to really play on some curves, and it was a blast. It's extremely dangerous. I give props to the cyclists who fly around those corners up in the mountain, because one mistake and you are dead. They're not even going to clean you up with a shovel. They'll just spray water on you. That way plants have something to eat. But it's good fun out here. So in regards to a lifestyle, I think diet's a pretty good place to start. And I've shared with you guys before that I used to be, and still mentally am kind of fat. Mentally, I still view myself as that, even though I'm not, just because I've spent well over 20 years overweight. And I see a lot on Instagram, people posting these 12-week, fat to fit challenges and all of these, and that's great. By all means, you guys do that. If that's what it takes to get you in shape and reset your mindset on what's possible, absolutely. But for me, that doesn't really work, because I'm kind of goal-oriented in the sense that once the 12 weeks is up, it's great, I did it, now back to life as usual, or it's really hard to maintain what you were doing through those 12 weeks, because it's a lot of times really arduous, over the top. It's basically more than you would do in a natural lifestyle change. So how I find the mix of that is do smaller daily workouts, just basic stuff to keep in shape. Go on nice long walks, go jogging, do your morning workout routine, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be huge, just a few minutes of push-ups, sit-ups, and then changing your diet, which I think overall is the most important thing you can do next to exercise, is just making those long-lasting changes in your diet. And how I've been able to do that is to just slowly start to cut things out, but you can kind of do it with a replacement. For me, dairy has always been a real problem. My body just doesn't process it properly. It gums up the works. So what I did was I tried to just stop eating all dairy, and it was there's a void in my life and I need something else. So I tried soy milk, and then you start to do some research into soy, and that's the last thing a man wants to use, because it has high estrogen levels and all sorts of bad stuff. Soy production's really bad and caustic to the environment. So then I started getting into almond milk, and that's what I'm on right now, is I just drink almond milk. And I don't even drink almond milk in a glass. I make my oats with it, or I'll use it in cooking, or maybe as a coffee creamer once in a while. But and there again, once you get into researching almonds, it's son of a bitch, you guys are killing the bees. So either way, you just got to start making slow changes in your diet and stick with them. So eventually, I don't really, if cheese comes on something, I'll eat it. But I'm not going to ask for cheese on anything. I won't put it in any of my own cooking. And milk, that's the only really... Ice cream, obviously, you shouldn't be eating ice cream all the time. So if I eat ice cream, it's maybe once a month I'll have like a scoop of ice cream. And that's just because we're out and about on a long walk and it's a hot day, or maybe I've eaten some tacos that are loaded with way too hot a hot sauce that I wasn't prepared for. Yeah, that's experience for you. But so some other things you can do with diet that really help is just better sourcing. So if you're looking for the long haul, like you're not trying to go on a zero carb diet after eating decades worth of McDonald's, like that switch is going to be really, really hard and it'll probably shock your body. But what you can do is start taking the normal things you do eat and making them come from better sources. And then eventually, once your kind of flavor profiles have adapted to more whole foods and not super overprocessed flours and grains that are in like basic form powders that they make these breads and carbs with. But if you get into like whole and sprouted wheat buns instead of like enriched white flour buns, like the taste is not that different and it's very easy to adapt. And once you get used to that one, it makes it a lot easier to then make another switch up after you've been on it for several weeks or even months. Eventually, like I'm trying to go as carb free as possible, but there are certain things I just like. And I actually, once I started feeling food work for me instead of against me, I can see how carbs are beneficial to your diet because they give you that lasting energy. Same thing with like red meat. Like I thought, I'll never eat red meat. But boy, if you're feeling famished, right, and you're on like a vegetarian diet, but you do eat meat, eat a piece of red meat and just tell me how it makes you feel. There's something in there that your body definitely uses, and it may be the proteins or the aminos. Who knows? Like the more we know, the more we realize we don't know. So yeah, you can do these small changes in your life. Overnight oats, I've said this before, I'll say it again, that is probably my go-to breakfast. You can make a week's worth in one night. It takes about 20 minutes, and it's equal parts. This is my recipe that we use, and it's equal parts oats, almond milk, and usually berries, mixed berries. And I also like to add flax seed, chia seed, hemp seed if you got it. You can take a little agave nectar and smear it in there if you'd like, a little sweeter. Or my personal favorite is overripe bananas. Because if you take a banana that's like on its way out, starting to get real spotty, throw it in the freezer. It'll turn all black, but when you pull it out, open it up, peel it, it'll be all mushy, but it's perfect to mix in with like your overnight oats because you don't get chunks of banana, but it acts as a sweetener. And you still have all the fiber that's naturally in the banana to help you process the sugar that it adds. So that's a big thing. Like sugar in nature is, for the most part, not bad for you because it has an equal portion of fiber to help process what it naturally contains. It's when you start taking just the sugar out that it becomes a problem. But yeah, so that overnight oats are great. And you just stick them in the fridge overnight, how it sounds. And the next day, the oats have absorbed all the not all the moisture, but the moisture is redistributed throughout the media. And it's a wonderful, nice heavy breakfast that's not bad for you because you haven't cooked anything. So everything's still raw, basically. So the fiber is really, really high. It's a really good source of protein, good source of aminos. You get, I like blueberries in mine, so there's tons of phytonutrients, and just a lot of vitamins in general. It's good stuff. And you can augment it with protein powders or different fruits. You can even use other substances other than oats. I'm sure there's a million recipes online, but yeah, that's a good bit on a quick, easy diet change. So how about I get into something hopefully we can all, if not all of us, someone out there will understand and relate to, and I guess that's why I'm doing this. Life isn't easy. They say that all that glitters is not gold, and that is absolutely true. A lot of what we do, or not a lot of what we do, but a lot of people seem to envy a lot of people that they see online or in magazines. And it's okay to envy as long as you're using these people as their accomplishments or maybe things that they have as goals that you can accomplish. But a lot of people, they just get the envy part and stop at that. And let me tell you that no matter who your idol is, they have problems too. In my personal experience, like, my life has done a complete 360 over the past, let's just say, year. And things that I'm doing these days are things I would never have thought were even possible a year ago. Like, if you were to told me a year ago that I would marry a model / actress, work on Star Wars, hang out, live in view of the Hollywood sign, go do all these amazing things, I wouldn't believe you. I'd be like, what, did I win the lottery? But no, like, on the inside, I still have things that I need to work on. Like, I'm constantly trying to figure out money. I never have, like, this sounds weird, but I'd never have enough money. And I don't live lavishly. Like, I have one set of kind of like 1 week's worth of clothes that I rotate with and then cross combination to get like 2 weeks worth of combination of clothes. And that's it. Food, we go grocery shopping, and that usually about taps me out on how much I have. But I'm getting better. Like, I'm starting to redistribute my money. Started off with like $100, put it in Robinhood, the mobile trading app, which is amazing. It's free. If anybody's on there, go to Robinhood. You can use my promo code, which I'll include in the links, to get a free stock. But it's just a way to kind of like safeguard my money from me with the potential of it making more money. And you can start to trade, which is kind of fun. So it's protecting my money from me versus just spending it with nothing to show for it. I also been doing the Bitcoin thing, which is, do some research. Bitcoin is what's up. And again, it's not with the intent of buying, selling. It's just a place I can put my money where I get to watch it grow versus disappear into nothing. And even if like Bitcoin starts to crash, okay, it'll go right back up and my money will be worth even more. So it's really fun to kind of watch that wave. And now, like, say the $100 I put into it last year or 2 years ago, it doesn't matter what it crashes to. Like, I forgot about that money. It's the money I spent is out of mind. All I have now is what my investment is. And that's really, really something I've never had before in my life. But again, it's not, you can't live off it. Like, I can't take, oh, hey, here's my Bitcoin and go buy groceries yet. That's the end game, I guess, but it's still got a long, long way to go for that to be of use to me. And then I've also taken some of my money and slowly bought gold and silver, like physical gold and silver. And that's another one where now it's in this raw mineral form, and I can't just blow it like that. Like, it's safeguarding it from myself, and it gives me something to kind of like hold on to. And it's a fun way. Like, those are 3 simple things anybody can do with like $20-$30 a week, a month, whatever. The point is if you start, eventually, like here I am several months to a year into some of these things, and I actually do have not a sizable, but like, wow, I guess I'm not broke when my bank account says 0. Like, I still have a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there, a few hundred here. And it's like, wow, I have actual net value now, which I've never had before. And it's really, really neat. But that being said, it's like, I still have, everyday struggles that I think a lot of you people have. And I'm not glad that we all have that together, but I'm glad that underneath it all, we can all kind of relate to the fact that life isn't easy, and I hope it gets easier. I really do, and I believe it will, just because here I am working at something, and you constantly build. Your goals and dreams are like plants. It starts off as just a seed, but as long as you keep giving it sunlight, warmth, and water, it will grow. Obviously, you need micronutrients and a proper soil, but I'm not going to get into that. You're spoiling the metaphor. So yeah, all that glitters is not gold, but life is happy. Find things in life that you're grateful for. If life is really, really tough, this is how I can do it. So life, it'll weigh on you, but what you can do every day is just sit back and say the things you're grateful for. We've all heard this a million times, but if I sit back and I just look at where I'm at, I'm in beautiful sunny California. The weather's perfect every day. I see the Hollywood sign every day. I get to work on movies. What more do you want? Now if you say these things out loud, they make you happy. It's wow, that's an incredible accomplishment. And let's say, let's give an even better example. Say you work at McDonald's. Do you have a family? Oh, I'm glad my family is in good health. I'm glad I'm able to work to try and feed them. I'm glad I'm able to help my family. I'm glad I'm grateful that, the work that I'm doing right now is to make sure that my family is healthy and has a better tomorrow than they had today. As long as you're striving towards that, it can really help your mindset. So another thing that not all of us, a lot of us nowadays especially, is anxiety. I've dealt with anxiety for most of my life, but my mid-20s that's when it was at its peak. It was terrible. But I've been able to, through meditation, holistic treatments, and everything you can do. I didn't spend a dime, really. The cure was in my mind. But CBD definitely helped. For those of you who don't know what CBD is, it's the other component of marijuana other than THC. So basically how my brother described it to me is THC is the sedative. CBD is what actually goes in and fixes shit. And that's true. You watch what it does to kids with seizures, and he said you can walk up to a kid who's having a really bad seizure, and this is someone's little boy, and their parents are just at wit's end. They're traumatized from the whole experience. You can place a few drops of the CBD oil under their tongue and you take a breath in, hold your breath, and before you run out of air, that boy is out of his seizure. And it works. That's how much I know about it, is it works, and it works really, really well. And it helped me get through. It helped me get over the peak of my anxiety to a point where I was mentally able to fight it in my inner self. And then I was able to do that through meditation, exercise. Exercise was a huge one because I had all this built up energy inside of me that my body and my mind didn't know what to do with. And that's the best way to put it, is just energy. It can be good, it can be bad, it can hurt you, or it can help you. So if I take these moments where I'm super high energy on the inside and I do a bunch of push-ups, or I start picking something heavy up over and over and over, or if I put it to something mentally focusing, putting a puzzle together, or playing a game, or something like that. You can redirect this energy to where your body doesn't focus on the fact that it could build to anxiety. With me, it felt like this energy that would build inside of me, and then I would start to feel it in my chest, and then I would recognize it as anxiety. And it wasn't until that moment that it was anxiety. But then once you have it, it's kind of like this self-feeding loop. And it's oh, it feels bad, but because it feels bad, it feels worse. And now you're scared that you feel worse, and next thing you know, you're shivering in a corner. But if you recognize those beginning stages of it, you can sit down, center yourself. Breathing exercises are really, really, really important. You can center yourself and work yourself through it. And again, if anybody needs help walking through this, if you're having a panic attack or anything, please email me. I can give you tons of resources on the things that helped me. the people that I look up to that cured themselves of it. Read quotes. That's another good one that really helps me. You know, when you read all these famous quotes from like Gandhi and Winston Churchill and, you know, Edgar Allan Poe, these great quotes that these people have, they don't just make them up because they're creative. They make them up because they lived it and that's how they dealt with it. That's really important. And if you actually start to look at that, it makes your idols, or not necessarily idols, but these people who have this grandiose stature, it brings it back home to something that we all are, is like, oh wait, this person had this feeling too, which is why this quote means something to me. Well, because it meant something to them. They didn't make it just because they thought it was creative and it was clever words. Like, they meant it. And yeah, you can, small steps, people, stack your moments. But yeah, so in my life, I'm trying to make this podcast, you gotta affirm positively. I'm gonna make this podcast be my main source of productivity, because I want to be able to keep talking, and I want to be able to help people, and somehow we're going to be able to do it together. The more guests I have on, the more we'll learn about each other, the more other people will learn how we interact with one another. I want to teach people how to communicate with each other in real life, and I want to do that by just talking to random people. So at the end of my last podcast, I made a post saying that for my next podcast, I would like an alien, there you go, an illegal immigrant. Obviously, that has some issues behind it. So I'll get you the next best thing. Someone who has spent most of his adult life here illegally. He recently got his citizenship or green card status, but he knows all the ins and outs, and he is a wonderful, wonderful person. I still have to talk to him on how candid he wants it to be. Obviously I don't want him to incriminate himself or any of his family or anything like that. So there's a little finesse that goes behind it. You can't just put a microphone in people and start talking. Like, as much as I wish we could do that, you can accidentally hurt someone even when they didn't mean to, and that's something I'd never want to do. So anyway, yeah, I'd like to keep these next few podcasts to under 30 minutes. I mean, we're at 23, 24 right now. So if I can keep these podcasts under 30 minutes, that'll be a great way for me to give you guys something you can listen to on your way to work, in traffic. I even thought about setting up, because it takes me about a half hour to get to work. And I was like, what a great way. I could record a podcast, just set up a microphone in the car and then just talk while driving. Like, anybody can talk while driving. I'm not looking at anything. I just hit record, and then when I get to work, hit stop. But that might be a fun format to do it as well. I'll try to make it safe, as safe as I can. But anyway, today's a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. I don't have work this week. Like, things in the film industry just kind of slow down this time of year, so the projects are spread thin. If anybody has any recommendations on if anybody needs a scenic carpenter, I can weld, I can do all sorts of stuff. Great with my hands, I'm easy to get along with, I learn quick, and I'm good at following direction. And I'm working right now to be a good leader. So, we do what we can every day to get to where we want to go. But I think that's all I got for you this time. I'll try to put one in here in either tomorrow or even the next day, which would be Thanksgiving. Maybe I'll do a Thanksgiving one. That'd be fun. We're supposed to get really, really baked. Like, I think we're going to eat a bunch of edibles and then eat a bunch of food and just hang out and watch movies all day. That'll be fun. Maybe I should record a podcast. It'd be a blast. But anyway, people, I'm glad to be back. Glad to be here. Glad to be alive. Glad to be talking to you. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for everything. It's the reason I'm doing it, is because I hope someone out there will listen. But until next time, this is your boy Levi. Bye.